Our featured NIC Talk speaker is Jacquelyn Kung, founder consultant Altruya. Ms. Kung's talk is titled Workplace Redefined, the 100-year-old worker. Ladies and gentlemen, Jacquelyn Kung.
This is a story that begins with my grandfather. He was a farmer and got a job at a noodle shop. He then ended up owning a chain of noodle shops in Indonesia. This is a picture of my grandfather and me, and in the background, one of his noodle shops. Look closely. He looks pretty old, doesn't he? In this picture, he's about 85 years old and still busting chops at his noodle shops. And like our dining services, front of the house, back of the house, he did it all, and he loved it. So it got me thinking, have we considered employing the 100-year-old workers? Crazy idea, right? Well, it's a crazy problem we have. As an industry, we're probably feeling a shortage of workers today. That said, our residents, the number of residents that we have, are growing. That's the blue line. But the number of workers that we need to hire as an industry is growing even more. And that's because our residents are getting older and older, needing more and more help. So barring robots taking over our world, we're going to need a lot more workers. 10 million, in fact, over the next 20 years. That's more than the population of New Zealand and Ireland combined that we're going to have to attract to our industry. It's a crazy problem. When I was AED at a retirement community, I had about 1,000 employees reporting to my office. You know who my best employee was? Not the guy on the left. He only showed up to work once a year. No, Faye White. She's the woman on the right. And she was the person that residents asked for by name because she cared so much for them and they loved her. Now, if you look closely at Faye, she doesn't look 29, does she? She won't publicly say how old she is, but I can tell you she's been 29 for at least 40 or 50 years. She was not only our best employee, but she was our oldest as well. So back to that question. And let's think about how could we design work for the 100-year-old? Well, there are a few things we'd have to do. One, we'd have to make it physically possible. Secondly, we need to imbue that work with impact and purpose. After all, if you're 100 years old, you're not going to go to a job you don't enjoy, right? And three, we got to get creative. Can we split up work? Can we have 2 4-hour shifts instead of an 8-hour shift? Do all sorts of other things like that. So let's bring this into the real world, into our communities. And on the screen here, you'll see a lot of departments that probably look familiar to our operations group: dining, housekeeping, maintenance, nursing. And we could go deep into any of these. But today, let's double-click on nursing as an example. So how do we make things physically possible in nursing for a 100-year-old? If you take the array of activities that nurses do today, there are 500 some activities. On the screen here are 8 examples. They sound pretty familiar, right? Personal care, meds, vitals, talking to families, listening. Just with these 8, if you look at them, only 3 require physical strength or fine motor skills. So let's look at those 3. What can we do to make those things that require physical strength more manageable for a 100-year-old worker? For this, I like to look at other industries. In this case, let's port ourselves over to shipbuilding. No pun intended. And raise your hand if you've seen Iron Man, the movie. Maybe remember that suit that Robert Downey Jr. wears? The Iron Man suit? Look what shipbuilding has done with the Iron Man suit to make their work physically possible.
Exoskeleton suits aim to revolutionize many aspects of our lives. Workers on a shipyard in Occupancy, South Korea have superhuman strength thanks to a new robotic suit. People strap into the suit starting with their feet, moving up their body where hydraulic joints and electric motors are connected to a backpack that powers and controls the system. Eventually, the developers want people wearing the suit to be able to lift 200 pounds, which will increase productivity by allowing workers to easily lift large, heavy pieces of metal.
When I saw that video, I said, where can I get one of those? Turns out there's a place 2 blocks from where I live, and you can buy one, but they don't come in purple yet. So the question for us as an industry is, what is our Ironman suit 2.0? What is our Hoyer lift 2.0? For the places today that use Hoyer lifts, there's a return on investment in less than 2 years from decreased workers' comp, lost work days, and decreased liabilities. We can do this. Now, that's just 3 of those 8 example activities that nurses do. The other 5, people of all ages can help with these tasks. But it assumes that people want to. So I did my doctorate in this area, and retention in senior care hinges on a few things. It's personal growth and learning, someone caring about you at work, and having purpose at what you do. So it comes down to culture. For this, let's go to another industry and look at airlines. Raise your hand if you've flown United or American recently. Okay experience, right? I mean, we're still alive. Now raise your hand if you've flown Virgin or Southwest recently. Okay, hands went up much faster then. Much better experience as consumers. What about the employees on Virgin or Southwest flights? Seem more engaged, happier? That's the culture. As you watch this next video, which is a Virgin safety video, think of the words that come to mind that you would use to describe the culture.
I got some safety tips that you gotta know, and trust me, it's something that you wanna hear. So honey, sip your lips and enjoy the show before we move into the stratosphere.
Words, creative, hip, fun. I mean, we're publicly saying those things, right? What are our employees saying about us? So to prepare for this talk, I looked at a site called glassdoor.com, where employees, both happy and unhappy, post what they think about their employers. I took all the organizations here at the conference, and out of a 5.0 highest score, what was our average? 2.8. Virgin, Southwest, high 3s, 4.1. What can we do as an industry? A friend of mine, Ian Brown, who some of you may know, is an amazing executive director. What he does is, at the beginning of every meeting, the first 60 seconds that any meeting he, his directors, managers holds, they pause and reflect on moments where they've seen the mission lived out. Another community that I recently went to, what they do is have a resident speak every month to the employees about what a difference their work has made on her life, or how they may have saved the life of her husband. Makes a huge difference. Number 3, we gotta get creative. How can we split up work, do other things? You know, one of the themes you may have seen recently in just Fortune 500's 1000 is this concept of a co-CEO. You have Workday, Deutsche Bank, Oracle, the list goes on of companies that have co-CEOs. Can we have co-CNAs, co-LPNs, or take that call light, which is so stressful for CNAs, and have a CNA call light role? I mean, there are all sorts of ways that we can split up our work. And what does that get us by 2025? Well, it does get us alternative workers, in this case, older workers, maybe 100-year-olds. But by this point, you've probably figured out that by applying universal design in our workplaces as employers, we make our organizations better places to work for people of all ages. And as a result, we get more and better applicants, and we get higher retention of our current staff. We fill that gap of 10 million. And we can do this. This is a picture of Cece showing up to work after her 90th birthday. She's an operating room nurse in Tacoma General up in Washington State. She's flabbergasted why people are so excited to see her. You know, for her, this is just what she does. She's made it happen, but as you can see, she's made a huge positive impact on the lives of her coworkers, and as you can imagine, her patients as well. We can do this in senior living. By the way, Cece is her nickname because she's so curious about how to make things happen, learning things, doing things, making it happen. She says, see, that's how we do it. So in the same way, we can do it today so that we don't have this problem going forward. Instead, it's an opportunity, and I welcome continuing this conversation. Thank you so much.